Hello, welcome back to my channel, Know by Design Golf. I'm Karen Davis, LPGA professional. During this week, I got to spend some time with some students that were struggling with clearing their hips in the downswing. And what that was causing was poor contact, early extension, and also just inconsistent ball striking just because they didn't have any space for their club and hands on the downswing. So today I'm going to go over how you can learn to clear your hips in the downswing and give you a couple of ways to work on it with drills inside or even out on the range, taking your time. So if you're someone who's really interested in knowing how to compress the ball, create space, speed, power, accuracy, consistency, and efficiency, then this video is for you. If you follow along the steps that I'm going to show you in sequential time and order, you will start to compress your irons, strike the ball far better, create space, and be able to clear your hips in the downswing. That's what elite players do. And it's going to start by you training in key fundamentals from the setup. So I'm going to show you first what to do in the setup, and then I'll show you what needs to happen with the trail hip, the right hip going back, and then how we need to do the right sequence, the kinematic sequence, and use the right kinetics to help us engage with our left foot and get our left side out of the way so we have room to deliver the club face with compression and hit more solid golf shots. What do you notice about these two different stances that I'm going to make with my 8-iron? This one, where I'm going to really struggle to be able to clear my hips on the downswing. And then this one. I see so many golfers with a stance, the feet and the hips not being able to pivot or rotate in the backswing because, one, they've got their feet, their toes pointing straight out, and two, their posture from their pelvis and relaxing the middle of their torso and their back so that they can turn into their right hip. So I'll show you that. We want to get these two things set up correctly so that you can start to turn your hips going back, but also clear your hips and create space through the shot so you can hit compressed iron shots. To be able to clear your hips in the downswing and get compression on your shots, there are some critical setup elements that I'm going to go through here. Number one, when you go in setup, you want to have the feeling that you know that your lower body can be activated. And so we want to get your shoulders more over the ball of your foot and relax your back more like you look like an old person with a walking stick, more like this, rather than getting your shoulders or your armpits over your toes. So this is going to not let you clear your hips, and it's also going to inhibit a decent swing path, and the sequence is going to be totally thrown off. So what we're looking for is to get your armpits more over the balls of your feet so that when you go to rotate back, you can turn and use the ground, turning and winding into your right hip socket and pushing down into the ground. So it's going to look more like this going back. So my torso is now starting to turn and I've got space going back. That's what we want. So to use your time wisely, you could use a camera on slow motion but we definitely don't want to have our hips too far behind our ankles, because we're not going to be able to create the space and be able to turn our right hip back or load on the backswing and then be able to transition in sequence and open up the left hip and move forward through the shot. So we definitely want to learn the best way for you to feel how you're going to set your feet and how you're going to get your hips more over your ankles when you set up, so that you can create space going back and then be able to push into the ball of your left foot and then clear the hips through the shot. So I've got a better posture, I'm in balance, and now I'm going to automatically just turn into my right hip and transition with the right sequence. Remember, the fundamentals matter, and taking your time and training in with drills and having objective feedback is going to really help you if you truly want to start to compress your irons, be able to clear your hips and get the right kinematic sequence. So there's some great apps out there. I use Sportsbox AI, and I'm able then to be able to track different segments of the body when their hips are starting to turn, and then when I'm starting to get my left hip back where it's supposed to be and clearing in the downswing. So you want to have some objective feedback if you're going to be working on this sequencing and the kinetics of using the ground and moving into the left foot at the right time so you can clear your hips and compress your irons. One of the most common errors that I see with the hips, especially with the ladies, is that the lead hip, so the left hip as a right-handed golfer, kind of swings around like a door, and this hip and the knee move too much towards the golf ball. What we really want is to be able to pivot more into our trail hip, but also feel like we're creating some torque and getting more load and pushing down into this right foot. So you could just start off getting your posture and balance, getting your stance, and then if you're someone after you've filmed it that's kind of getting this and there's no torque and the club's getting behind you, what you want to do is learn just with this simple little bump and run movement to turn into the right hip, get the club wide and out in front of you with a nice square club face, and then sequence where you push in the ball of the left foot and get the right hip to come around. So I'm pushing into the wall, I'm pushing back. And just hitting shots like that. That would train you how to use your feet, how to start from a good setup, and how to use some torque and turn into your right hip to start the backswing. If you don't do that, then you're not going to clear your hips on the downswing. Remember, the backswing with the pivot and the arms going up to the top is 3/4 of your swing. So we want to be more effective with that and cause something that's going to help you get better club delivery. So when you are moving from setup into the backswing, we want to get this idea that, can you imagine if I had an electric fence right here? That I'm not going to hit the electric fence, and that when I start to go back, I'm coiling into my right hip and then moving so that by the time my left arm is just before parallel to the ground, my left hip is back where it was, and then I'm able to clear and get all this space where I can extend and feel like I'm shaking hands after I hit the ball. So we're turning into a right hip, we've got torque, and then I'm moving into the ball of my left foot, compressing. I call it crushing the grape. And then I'm going through the wall and pushing my left hip back, waiting for my right shoulder to go under me. That helps you get the club working shallower by getting that sequence in the feet and clearing the hip. It gets space and it helps you compress your irons. So for you to be able to train in the right sequence, which is called the kinematic sequence, I've got this drill that's called surf the line or zip the zipper. And I've got a ball set up in a low tee initially, and I'm going to take my stance, get my setup, and I've got this alignment stick. You can use a club, but it's going from the front of my trail foot, my right foot, to behind the left heel of my target foot. And what we want to be able to do is, from setup, we're going to create torque, and we're using the ground, and we're turning into the right hip, pushing down. We've got torque, and then we're going to push into the ball of the left foot, and then my belt buckle's going to surf the line. So I'm going to push back, and then my belt buckle's moving forward and behind me in the downswing. So I'm going here, there. This is separating now, and my belt buckle is surfing the line that I've got here between my feet. So I'm way open right now, and that's where I would be before I hit the ball. So that's called surfing the line. So you can see there that I'm now swinging the club more down, and I'm able to stay in it for longer. And I would do that drill pretty much the beginning of every practice session if you're learning to compress your irons and be able to clear your hips in the downswing. But we want to do the setup things with the feet. We want to turn the right hip back, and we want to train slowly initially. So we're doing it at 25% speed, 50% speed, 60% speed, so that our CEO is giving the right message to our team, our body, particularly our lower body, because we don't want to feel stuck or do a lot of compensating to hit the ball. For you to be able to clear your hips, what you want to be able to do in the backswing is turn the right hip back and then push into the left foot, and then you really want to feel like this hip moves back and out the way, and this right shoulder then feels like it's going down past the golf ball. So you have to, by the time your left arm's coming back down parallel to the ground, you want to feel like you've gone through the wall and your left hip is out of the way. Then you can be able to get your club face so that you've got compression and you've got forward shaft lean, but that only happens because you've got this hip out the way and your arms can extend and you can feel like you're shaking hands past the ball. And then this momentum then will pull you up and out. So then I push into the ball of my left foot, and then it's like I'm putting the brake on and I'm pushing back. So my left side of my rear, my tush push is going, my hips getting out the way. And you'll even see elite players where this foot will rotate. So what we're looking to create is coil, push into the left foot, create space so you can compress, and then feel like your right shoulder's staying down, and the momentum of the club gets you to come up and out. So it looks more like this from that perspective. So you can see that I pushed my rear back, that my weight has moved from the ball of my foot out to the outside of my shoe. That's what we would like to see for you to create space so that you can create speed, power, accuracy, consistency, and efficiency for your iron shots. And you can even rehearse this and learn this hitting socks inside or foam balls, where once you get up to the top and you've pushed your right hip back and you're pushing into your left ball of your foot, you're going to push away from it and extend, and the left hip gets out the way, and then literally feel like you're swinging so the club comes back out in front of you, but this hip has got more depth, and you're going to compress more shots, and you're going to stay in your golf shots, hit it more crisply, more often. So to be able to clear your hips, remember, you've got to get that stance in your feet the way you heard it earlier in the video, and then we're going turning into your right hip, and then you've got to push into the ball of your left foot and push back, and by using the ground that way, that helps you shallow the club, so the club then can move more down, club head directly behind your hands. That was in my video last week. And then because now you're pushing your hip back and extending, you've got space to be able to strike the ball with compression and be able to get your golf shots to be more consistent because of this whole process. So I'm going to show you one more little drill that helps you understand how you're going to fall into your left foot and then push back and literally feel, just like Scotty Scheffler, that you're moving this way more with your lower body. And I'm going to feel like I fall into my lead toe and then feel like I'm pushing back and getting tall. Fall into my front toe, push back, and I'm through the wall. So I've moved a lot more to the left than I would be if I was going into extension and not being able to stay in the shot. Give that a try. Try those drills and see how it goes.